go.
I'm going to call into order East Granby's Economic Development Commission on Monday, October 27th, 2025 at 5:33 p.m. In attendance, David Energy, Ian Ritter, Tom Lally, Zog. We have one member of the public.
One on Zoom.
Anybody on Zoom?
Yep. One.
We have
Sandy Landway that's on Zoom.
Sandy's. All right. Review and approve minutes from June 2025. Has everybody had time to review?
Yes.
Yes. Motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from June.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Open for discussion? Questions? Questions? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Open the floor to the public. Comment?
One at a time, please.
This includes online.
Go on the record, stand where we're like, or,
Yep.
anyway, Ken Bensunis, you see me here before. We own property here in town. We have the two gateway StubHub building. We got one gateway in the other corner. We got acreage across the street.
Right over here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I just wanted to let you know, we've submitted a proposal to the planning and zoning for a building there. I don't know if you, get those or not, but
I saw it.
we have our 5-acre parcel, which kind of could have access by itself. So we're starting one building. I don't know if you've seen it, but I can tell you what it looked like. Just briefly, I just have a couple of copies up there. Put them together, but
Thank you.
the proposal is just one building at this time and a potential of 3 or 4 buildings, depending on what happens there.
This is StubHub, right, Ken? This is the.
No, it's over here.
Over here, okay.
So this is Route 20 on this
Oh,
side.
this is Route 20.
Oh,
okay.
And this is what we call the 5-acre parcel.
It's the brush hog field. It's the
One
field.
gateway, the brush
We got
hog
this
field.
this way. Yep.
It's one split down. So while we have 5 potential buildings shown, we're just going for permitting on the one.
Sure.
Because we don't know what's going to happen on the rest of the parcel. We could get somebody who wants 20,000 feet, 50, anything.
This is a larger, this is a smaller over here, right?
Oh,
Okay.
you're saying you don't know what the parcel is across Route 20, Ken?
We don't even know what's going here.
Okay. Okay, I thought I heard you say that you started construction. No?
No, we're submitting for site plan approval
Okay,
for that building, the single building,
okay,
on the 5-acre piece.
okay.
Is it going to be subdivided into the offices or what's your plan? Or you don't really know, you're just
Retail.
basically.
Right now
just-
it's set
Retail.
up as retail and drive-through.
Okay.
Yeah, because of the high traffic count, we think resale, even a coffee shop
Sure.
on the end there, meets zoning, it's got a drive-through, but it's
Okay.
5 acres.
Does it already meet the permissibility of the property?
I'm sorry?
Does it already meet the permissibility within?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
Okay.
we've gone through this up and down, and so we have an engineer doing this, and we've submitted our whole plan as well as a traffic plan.
Right.
Now, this is where it gets interesting, and this is kind of why I'm here. This is going to go its course, but you're well aware that the Silverman Group has also submitted a proposal for the 400 and the 300,000 square foot distribution
Yeah.
behind the 2 gateway,
Over here,
right behind 2 gateway.
Correct.
Yeah, StubHub building.
correct.
Their access point is out on Gateway and also on Hazelwood.
Yeah.
But the traffic through there is going to be tremendous. So their traffic people, Hesketh in town, have indicated through a traffic study that a light is needed at the intersection of Gateway and Route 20.
Yeah.
I think we all know that. If you go there, you can't turn left into there without looking in the mirror thinking you're going to get creamed. Traffic is very fast through there, both directions. To go to Gateway, you really need an intersection with the light. So they're proposing that as well.
Is that proposal taking the
So-
fact that you have the property across the street and kind of went on line?
You're jumping ahead. The reason why it's interesting is that their proposal only widens Route 20 enough to make a left turn lane into Gateway in the existing location. All they really need, I guess.
True.
But what it doesn't do is what you're saying, it doesn't provide access to the acreage across the street,
Yep.
which it doesn't have access at that point with the traffic going so fast. You got a little Nicholson Road action, but that parcel will never be used.
Ken, is that, excuse me, is that access road across from Gateway not exactly perpendicular? It's a little bit north, it's a little north, right?
They're all on it. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't line up right now. It runs into the property. We have three corners. We have the big acreage. We have two gateway, one gateway. We have the other people there who I've talked to, but it lines up poorly across the way. So this is where it gets really interesting because the right of way for Gateway Boulevard is 140 feet wide because, as you know, it's a boulevard. It's supposed to have two more lanes. It's a big area.
It's supposed to be an island in the middle,
Yeah,
correct?
that's boulevard is kind of that's the
Right.
definition, right? So it may or may not be the ultimate goal there. Nobody thinks you need it now with the traffic, but we can take advantage of that and align the road, change the alignment so that it lines up across the street with the bigger acreage within the 140 feet. And our two Gateway office building has a big yard. So to give some of the land from the two Gateway and use the whole thing, we could line up that intersection and make a four-way, which would allow the parcel to be used. And as economic development, you would think, yes, that's something you could get behind.
So you're suggesting widening Gateway north on the north side of it?
Giving away some of the land, the open space land that is
Yeah,
in
I
the
have a
frontage
couple of
part
things.
to a,
Saying is open gateway up this and
town.
so that it
correct, the intersection.
This is
So,
not a permit.
hold on, so if nobody's aware of the history of the property, so Route 20 used to be one lane, backwards and forwards. As time progressed, town agreed to make it what it is today, so 2 and 2. The hope was that it would help, spur commercial growth through the transition zone into the village center. In doing that, it created a little bit, some issues. Like this property years back, there was a newspaper there, and StubHub was there at one point. It's somewhat been an issue for most of the businesses that came in and out of it because there's no real good way with 4 lanes now to take a left out of the property. It has been some, I've been hearing about this for a long time, so that's really just kind of a short history of it. So Ken, your proposal really is to help align that area now that we have this 4-way, so that it's safer to exit Gateway Boulevard onto the main road, but then realign it with the other 2. So with the parcels, in doing so by giving up some of the open space land onto it in order to accomplish it.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yard. I have a couple other things. This is a drawing of the red is what an engineer has put together, and the blue in this case is the amount of impact to Route 20. Realign the road. That's a starting point. So you see the 5-acre parcel there is fully outlined, and across the street we have a commercial plan that only part of it is shown here. The empty quadrant is the 2 Gateway building. So it's a small impact. So this is the next drawing. This shows the old road, the road that is, the yellow, and then what could be with the blue.
Now, where's StubHub? I would use StubHub.
Right here, it's the vacant
Okay.
section here. So that's the 5 acres. This is the bigger parcel. This is the other people. So
it's literally just moving.
those, that's sort of an overlay that shows them both.
StubHub is good enough.
2 more. And then this one shows the amount of land swap that might be needed. If you move the road, this parcel might gain a little, this parcel would give up.
You don't, have you talked to these people that might be giving up? That's not your.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, that is StubHub,
This is
right?
StubHub.
Oh, yeah, we talked about- yeah.
This is the people that we don't have that.
Right, but we don't have an impact. I think the other one is.
I know it's a lot because I just I'm throwing a lot at you, but here,
No, this explains
the
it.
final one is, what does it look like after? There it is. The four-way stop sign here to get into two gateway, one gateway, and a lined up intersection.
So this also requires a widening of Route 20 to turn right into your,
Small
Right.
deceleration bit. Yeah, you saw that
just
first
right
blue
here,
one.
right?
Yeah, the one with the very thin.
But nothing on this side, Ken?
There's one for that, there's blue one here. Where's the bluish one? This shows the very little changes in Route 20.
Right, okay.
Yeah. There's a deceleration lane, there's a widening,
North and southbound.
yeah, acceleration, deceleration, all of those, they have to be a skinny little sliver more on Route 20. Not a lot.
Just where it funnels to that area.
Yeah.
Right, it's kind of like halfway through both of those blocks. It kind of has to open it up across the way on, not on the stub pub side, but on the opposite side. It has to kind of cut out a little bit more in order to accommodate that. Yeah.
So is this more of a town gets involved? I mean, how does the state of Connecticut get involved?
As I understand it, effectively, the town has to be the one to ask for, ask the state for an intersection change, whether it's signal timing or anything else. So technically, the local traffic authority is the first select woman, and she should technically fill out a form and say, we want to make this intersection change. And I've approached her, and because the Silverman Group's in first, she said she really can't do anything about it. She's gonna wait till we propose, which is, we've already submitted our application. So both are on the table, and I just want to put forward the fact that if they go forward with just the Silverman one, it's gonna make one little change. And frankly, I'll object if they stack trucks there because I couldn't get into 102 Gateway, which is a problem. They should go Hazelwood, but that's another matter.
Hazelwood's out this way, right, Ken?
Yeah,
Like
out
Pride.
Connecticut south towards the industrial area.
So Ken, you've already submitted this?
We've submitted a plan for a first building with a conceptual plan to realign the intersection. So much to know. Who's going to pay for it? What's the exact design? I don't know. Nobody knows at this time.
Because you have to submit the proposals. The town has to submit the proposal to the state. And the state then has to agree to the concept, but then they then bring in an engineer. If I remember right, they bring their own engineers in.
Yeah, I'm not a full expert. on this.
I'm not 100% on it, so don't take me as full.
I think the town has to prove that an intersection is warranted.
Right.
Best they can, and then the state's going to confirm that, say, yes, we agree. And then it goes from there to, well, what's the design, and
Yep.
public or
So,
private, the design of that, I don't know yet either.
so is this something that could be paid for with a grant?
Otherwise it falls on developers.
Okay. All right, and then my other comment is that as I look over all of this, I get the feeling that Silverman doesn't benefit from this as much as you do, correct?
Well, they need
They
it,
probably don't
and
care.
we need it.
Huh?
They need it, and we need it.
Okay.
They need
Okay.
a simpler one, we need a different one.
Right, you need to get across the street.
Yeah, for all of us to use that parcel, the alignment would have to be.
Correct.
Regardless if you own it or somebody else owns it.
Right.
See how it can work otherwise. I haven't really shown this to folks. Maybe I don't want to leave it with you, but here's the StubHub building. Here's our 5 acres.
Yes.
If I have it the right way. And across the street, we have the potential to have a lot of retail and activity here to give East Granby some more
Can
transitional.
I take a picture of that, Ken?
Yeah, I guess so. You can have it.
Okay.
But that's what we're talking about opening up. That's like that's like $100 million, $50 million. I could do what they did at the Mr. Poland there and do all the math, how many people, how many jobs, how many construction jobs, and we can do that. But
Yeah.
And you've already got the approval from planning and zoning for in terms of number of drive-throughs.
That's already been through.
That's all done.
It's been-
what we got through was to add drive-throughs of restaurant-style drive-throughs 1 per 5 acres, no more than 600 feet, no less than 600 feet apart from window to window.
Yep.
And some stacking and some other things.
So not overwhelming it, but also meeting
Yeah.
the business needs.
So, they're good payers. I think, nobody likes Route 75. I hear it over and over. It's congested, it's this, it's ugly, it's all that. We'd like to do something a little better because we control the whole thing. We have architectural consistency across the whole thing and make it something we're proud of. We have a lot of property, mass in Connecticut, and we're not into building bad projects.
This is not a row of restaurants and fast food and coffee and gas stations.
Like 75.
Like 75. This is completely
That's what
different.
he's,
It
yeah.
can't be.
This is different,
It can't.
I think.
No.
Any kind of drive-through has to be 600 feet apart from the next one.
Now, is the Silverman Group sort of first in line in terms of the First Select Woman's attention because they're trying to get it done? They want it done quicker, and this is going to take a little longer to go through the state and stuff. Or
It's going to be a big process
In
anyway.
both cases, the state's involved with it because it's Route 20.
because I mean, it seems like it'd be mutually beneficial, even if right from what I'm seeing, what you're saying. So
Be some cost sharing, sure.
Yeah.
They have a simpler plan. They've agreed to pay for it. So I think that,
The Silverman Group.
yeah, for their,
For the plan that benefits them and not
Yeah.
you.
yeah, so they're going to take a left turn in and they've got to put a signal there. It's expensive, but to realign it, that's a whole other thing. It's on town property. It's not a state road. It's going to be more difficult.
But you own the property on either side of the realignment, so
Yeah, so it can be done. Is it the right thing for economic development for the long haul? Or, I think I'm paying $800 a year for taxes on the big parcel because it's in PA 490 status.
Across the street.
Yeah, we paid $2.7 million. So it's sitting there, we're not using it. It'll never be used unless something works better. And I won't get any tax revenue, and I think it's a good project for the town. I wouldn't be proposing it.
This is actually the only, this would actually be the only intersection to leave in both directions out of the parcel on the other side, the larger parcel, because the far one by buildings A and B, it doesn't have a light, correct?
Which one? Hazelton or?
No. Buildings
Say that
A and
again,
B,
Dave?
that doesn't have a light,
No, we were thinking a right in and a right out here, and a right in and right out here.
but this is the only one
This
that
is-
would have a light.
Yeah, that's right.
Not, without it, there's no light to get out of it.
Right, there's a driveway where the house used to be, so there's a curb cut, but I think that's ever gonna work.
Otherwise, you'd have to go to Nicholson Road.
Yeah, and that's getting pretty congested already.
Ken, can this intersection also benefit this tenant? It could,
Yeah, there's
right?
thoughts.
It could.
I've been in conversation a long time ago, not recently, but certainly that would make him a corner parcel there, and
Correct.
we could in fact connect to it if it would help him.
Does he have some vacancies?
It's like he always has vacancies.
This is true. So anything that could help him too.
So we all know there's a lot of traffic there. It's all going by. There's no express lane. That's it.
So for my own benefit, Dave,
Yeah.
what are the, could you just give me a range of, in this zone, what these tenants could be? Could they be anywhere from restaurants to yoga studios to, I mean, what's the,
Park train.
yes, yeah, what's the,
Commerce Park transition, basically, yeah, it's like mixed use, pretty much.
yeah,
It's kind of like Commerce Park A,
Yeah,
which is the sewer part of Commerce Park.
yeah,
And it adds restaurants, medical, office, hotels,
yeah,
all of these things, retail
yeah.
in general.
A lot of retail industry. Basically that transition where you're going from industry to retail until you get to Village Center where it's really,
right,
you know.
right.
So there's a lot to know. I'm not asking you for anything except maybe support of exploring the realignment for the greater good of the long-term economic development of the area. And there's a lot to know still. Cost share, the Silverman Group hasn't been too interested in talking to me because they can see their way. They don't need me, so to speak. But perhaps if they're inspired to do the right thing long haul, they'll work with us.
I don't know if everybody's in agreement, but I mean, when you look at it from Route 20 corridor perspective into three prime parcels, one being the old stud pump building, which really could also go medical, and the two other parcels, one adjacent to the right, at least on the map and across, and putting the safer intersection for greater use of those properties and the adjacent properties makes from a safety perspective, it makes sense, and from a usage, it makes sense, because I think ultimately you wouldn't want that traffic going down Nicholson. From what I hear, on Route 20 is a way to make it safer. One way to make it safer is to slow it down a little bit. I do think a light would slow Route 20 down a little bit, to be honest with you. From the perspective of, there is the Silverman Group, they have a little simpler plan, but then if we are looking at this a little bit more holistically, I think this actually makes a lot more sense in the long term from a town perspective.
Yeah, given the visibility from Route 20.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, I could personally back it, but that's my personal self. But as a commission, if we are all in agreement, I could send a notice to our first select woman that the EDC favor of the conceptual idea presented by Ken as it relates to this. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, so are we all in
You
favor?
have to be all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I will send a notice to our first select woman.
So Ken, you're saying that this property here is only reaping the town $800
It's just farm field right now. Yeah.
a month,
A year.
a year.
A year, yeah. Its impact on.
It's not going to
the
make us rich.
No.
Well, remember, the other thing about these properties is, like, we always talk about, and it always comes up, Route 75, Windsor Locks. As Ken kind of pointed out, the way that we drafted those, or Ken drafted the text, was the way the town approved them. It really can't do that. The distance on 75 for drive-throughs is small. It's tiny. You can put them like right next to each other, technically speaking. This actually, if I remember the original conceptual plans, it's really more mixed in the long term.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
drive-through, I think it's a drive-through world a little bit. So banks and pharmacies, those are, I think, allowed. It's the restaurants people don't want. I don't know how many make sense there anyway.
Right.
We could I think we get 2 on frontage and maybe 1 in the back. All that could be done with the 600-foot.
And that's dependent on if there was ever, and that also includes, remember, if we all remember, that includes a pharmacy or a banking institution. We don't have to just think restaurants. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to our mind, but that's not technically what it always is going to be. So.
Medical and retail are underserved here. I think people would come. Just got to get something. And I can't promise people, sure, we'll build that when I don't know what's happening with the intersection. So I have to kind of iron that out and see if that's the direction and say, here, everybody's behind it. Now would you consider it Aldi's or Trader Joe or whoever could go there? But right now you can't really sell it.
Have you seen any interest for a hotel of any kind, Ken? Something
not.
boutique-y, a 50-room. I always thought a hotel in this area would be great. I mean, we do live right next to an airport.
But there was recently a hotel just approved in Simsbury next to the Big Y.
Was that
Yes.
still in there?
Yeah. If that can work there,
But that's also next to the International Skating Ring, and that's the draw for that hotel. There's not a draw here in East Granby, and with a hotel there,
Yep.
that limits even more so here, I would
would agree.
think.
all the pilots that come in and out of Bradley and stay overnight here, they go to Windsor.
Yes,
They go to Pigeon Hill Road area.
yes, because there's.
That's a lot farther than here. So I'm just saying that I feel like
It would be a good,
it would be good. And I'm not talking about a giant Hilton or Ramada Inn. I'm talking about something on a boutique scale, like all those hotel companies have smaller little boutique chains that have.
They got a lot of offerings these days.
They do have a lot of offerings. It's a good, safe area, and there's a reason people don't like to stay in Windsor Locks. I hate to say it, but
Yeah, and I believe at one point, next to the StubHub, there was a proposal about 20 years ago for a hotel there.
Yeah.
That fell through.
Yep.
So again, it's tough because the zoning permits so many things. We don't know exactly what's going to go there. We think with the apartments coming in, people don't have a place to shop or anything, and they're going elsewhere. Reggie, the guy building over there on
yeah, Bramblebush.
Yeah.
says, "Can you get me some retails for my apartment people?" I'm like, "I'd love it."
So that brings up a good question. I mean, obviously, it's not part of the village center, but in theory, people could walk from Bramblebush to here, but there doesn't seem to be any sidewalks in your proposal.
None of this is even a proposal at this time.
Or not a proposal,
Not a
but,
proposal.
but a sidewalk.
Concept.
Sure. I'd like to get his people to walk over to be customers. Why not?
And I mean, I could say, Ken, from my observations, I think this area is really is what I hear and what I listen to from the public. It's medical, retail, pharmacy, grocery. That's the type.
No gas stations, Ken.
Yeah, no gas.
No, I think you got to do it.
But that's what I hear. I mean, if I'm being honest, that's what I hear.
It's all in the village center plan too.
Yeah. Yeah, and that comes out of the village center.
Plus, these properties would feed off each other, right? If you get medical and StubHub, then you need an X-ray place, you need this kind of place. So
Yeah.
people like to have the cluster of medical.
so we'd have to propose it. and have it go through the-
But watch the timing.
Dragging it down. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I think we're all in agreement. Like you said, I'll send a notice to our first select woman, at least to the EDC's position on the concept. And then,
You can encourage her to consider it, don't
yes.
rule it out. Yes, all you can do it this time because there's so much uncertainty as to what's going to happen there. I don't.
I mean, are there, and I'm sure you've thought this through, in order to use this piece of property across the street, there really aren't any other options for you, are there?
Nicholson, and then there's actually an easement from.
Yeah.
Chris, that's the guy down there. Cripes, that's
Cripes?
Cripes, if you go back far enough, I
Cripes.
understand. That's some old timers.
There's an easement, what? That,
Between the industrial buildings. That's never gonna,
no,
Yep.
otherwise there's no, there's a sort of a wetland to the back, right of the cemetery from Route 20. It's kind of wet there, we can't access it at that point, so.
And this minimizes curb cuts too. I mean, there's really, and it makes sense all around.
Well, yeah, I observed that too, looking at it.
what's that?
It minimizes the curb cuts.
Correct.
That you would need in some other places in order to make sure it's a safe entry and exit.
Taking out your time, but you see, I guess what we're at here and.
And thank you for
I
coming.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Ken.
This
That's
is
great.
awesome.
Great.
This is really great
Really
information.
appreciate it. Are these
add
maps
some
for us to
clarity.
hold on to? Or for you?
Can have it.
If we could, that'd be.
We'll
Thank you.
spread them around.
No,
No.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ken. Do you have any more comments from public?
Anybody from Zoom have a comment or?
Raise your hand if you're on Zoom and want to comment.
Who are the two people on
It's
Zoom?
Sandy Landolina and Jason Hayes. I could ask to unmute.
Okay. So I'm gonna close the portion of the meeting that's for the discussion with the public and/or applicants. To the economic development report. Thank you, Ben. Has everybody had a chance to read through the report? Are there any questions? Your third page of your packet.
Second.
This one, in the back, third page of this package, so
Okay.
your agenda. Minutes, and then the report. So you'll see here, the One Gateway Boulevard is on there for land use applications. And then you have the Rainbow, the two warehouse building. For Rainbow.
Supplemental, correct?
And then, there's glass materials, that's 1 and 2 for a special permit for a site plan approval. That's a quarry expansion.
Those two will be heard in December.
December. Yeah.
Yeah,
The next planning and zoning is December, not in November?
No, we have November 17th.
but those are for in this.
Okay.
Okay. There's no questions. Could move on.
Why is there in the application for the warehouse buildings that's for subdivision?
What was it?
Is that just a process, basically?
It's a process.
They just,
It's a
okay.
process. So it's not asking for anything
They're not asking for anything extra. They're
outside the
just-
zoning.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna, on other business, I will move on from retention visitation. And have not seen any communication recently, so I'll have to follow up. Marketing. One question that came up last we met was about an antique store or something like that.
Yes,
Yes, there is one.
I actually did submit something already, so it'll be in the next issue.
Okay.
I did stop by there. They're basically they do custom furniture, things like that. It's actually a cute little shop.
They did. Is that the one by the window? Where is it?
It's on Hartford Avenue. Used to be, yeah, it's right on Hartford Avenue there.
Yeah, Peter L. Brown. By Peter L. Brown, right.
Yep.
Okay.
And
So it's
basically, they do custom slab furniture, custom tables, things like
Farm
that.
tables.
Farm tables. They basically make all kinds of furniture. They have smaller items too.
right on site.
Right on site, actually, they manufacture right there. And I think that's what they're applying for the permit for.
I think they were on Mountain Road in Suffield.
They
right
were,
next to this.
they were, right next to the post office there in West Suffield. That's where they were originally.
Okay.
But that is just not the best location for them, really, so. But yeah, no, they seem
So in Talk Turkey, we'll see an article about sheep.
Yeah, you will see an article coming up.
That's great. Are there any other businesses we can think of that we might want to do any type of?
Something new. Oh, Frank's Place, that's right.
Frank's Place.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Is he open yet, or is it just kind of a
open, yeah.
soft opening? Because I've been by,
open.
it's open?
Yeah.
But not every day.
It's been open every day I've been there.
How many times have you gone
a
there?
restaurant or?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I just I've seen it, I just haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, it's a restaurant.
I had to Google because the apostrophe was bothering me as an English teacher. Because it's Frank's Place. I was like, I hope there's multiple Franks.
There is.
And then there was. So I Googled it. And I was like, oh, God, thank God. I just spent this huge money on the sign because the truck is just Frank's. It's one Frank.
Right.
And then, so that's why I was confused. I was like, you know, so I was like, okay, thank God. Yeah.
Thank God you paid attention in school.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody paid. Whoever did it did pay attention as well.
That's good.
So I'm glad that was there.
So,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, just, you know, as keeping what we've been doing with new businesses in town, and then down the road, sometimes revisits, we could, reach out to them, you know, too, for an article.
yep, I can do that.
Okay. Can't really speak on the passport program. I don't know what the
It's-
results were.
It's still up and running until, what is it, the Sunday after Thanksgiving or
Is that
that
what it
Friday
is?
after
Okay.
Thanksgiving is when it ends.
Right. And then, new business discussion. Obviously we had our edits to the existing tax incentive plan. We've still not brought them in, just so everybody is clear, because I hear this, sometimes that, just so everybody knows, the tax incentive plan actually exists today. It was written, quite a few years ago. It carves out really what the parameters of the incentive plan is, what the purpose of it, if it is for businesses, whether they're new or coming into the town, what that incentive is. There are provisions for a clawback in the event of default as well, written into it already that exists today without any changes. And then there is provisions relative to the assignment of agreements as they exist today without any adjustments. The premise of the plan when it was drafted was the fact that we didn't have one. And one of the reasons that it was originally drafted was, and it was implemented, was a way to help drive businesses and also incentivize businesses to do certain things like maybe uplift their properties renovations where they may not have, because been apt to do it without. At that time, there was different meetings with different business owners, like, you know, what are you looking to do? What would you like to do? You know, getting a feel if they would use the incentive program, right? The whole concept was to then, after it was implemented, revisit it to see how it worked. Did it work? Was it too restrictive? So that time came, and I've looked at it. We've looked at it as a commission and taken what we've learned and heard. The application cost was too much. The application cost, as it sits today, is $1,000. Our proposal is $100. Why? If you're a small business coming into town, you're looking at doing a fit out. Maybe it's 10, 15, 20,000. You know, this is an application. $1,000 might be quite a bit. $100 is more palatable. Partially for the fact is it's not a given, right? So the process is that there is a application. The EDC takes part in it. There's a section which is 255.26 as to our part in that process. There is a referral, and I clarified this more in the amendments that hopefully we'll present at a future Board of Select meeting. To kind of clarify that, the Board of Select refers, the public approves. It has to go to a public meeting to approve any of the tax incentives, right? So it's not, well, there is, I should back up. There is a little bit more to it. So it's the Board of Select and town engineer, town planner, right? And they'll submit it for review to the Board of Select. So it kind of starts with us. If they talk to us, we can lead them as to what the application process is. That goes to the town engineer, town planner, that will brings it for review to the Board of Select. My clarifications also that from the EDC perspective is that it must be sustainable to our grand list. Some tax abatements, depending on percentage, and where our grand list is, it may not be financially sustainable, right? And that's important. And then also the town, and clarifying a little bit with more greater detail, it is a town that has to approve it at a public meeting, right? The second piece of information as we listened was it wasn't really driven for small businesses as well. It seemed to be geared toward much larger business, mid-sized to larger businesses. So we looked at the different commercial zones, right? Whether transition, the village center, so on and so forth. And we, instead of it being one selective tier, the tiers ended up being, we've cross-sectioned them based off of a percentage on the dollar and as it grows. So it allows a small business to take advantage of a tax abatement, right? That's something that we heard. So when we get to the point and, to bring it, that's where we're hoping to go, is to make it a little bit more small business friendly, right? To allow for those smaller projects. And then allow for a softening period, right? The softening period meaning, especially for a small business, if you're coming in, you run that tax abatement period, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're hit up. That's kind of hard sometimes, depending on, the cash flow and the revenues of that business. To have a softening period also is prudent, right? So that's the other part of the adjustments. And then lastly, it didn't actually need an adjustment. I just think it's laid out a little bit clearer now, is that this is only on improvements. The abatement is not on at all. It's only on the improvements, so that the abatement's tied to at the end of the day. There was also questions as to, square footage, as well, for, a lease or minimum square footage. And that really, we don't really have square footage requirements technically, but from a policy perspective, we align them with the different areas. So, I mean, they're really, the minimum is 200, the other is 400. And those are just really based on what we're seeing for availability and capability within those areas. So, that's really what it comes down to for any of the adjustments for proposal, that we hope to make. The clawback really already exists. What it really actually was just vacant of, was if someone decides to leave the town, right? Everything was there, except it didn't adjust for and take into consideration, in the default section, if you leave, right? Mm-hmm. There's a difference between transferability and actually getting up and going, right? You can transfer your business, somebody can buy your business, right? And that has a whole, that has its own requirements, right? Under the current incentive plan. So that seemed to be the most absent part. And I could hear that, I can understand that, you don't want someone coming in. You want those who are going through the payment to be really invested within our, invested in our town, for the long term. But at the end of the day, the incentive plan actually exists as it is today. These adjustments are, for the fact that the time had lapsed. And when you look back at where it worked and where it worked and where it didn't, I think these were the necessary adjustments at this time. I'll advise the commission when it is going to go. I would encourage, once I advise you, to come to the meeting in which it would be
Presented.
yeah.
So this process has been in place in a different form for years.
Yes.
Is there a way of knowing? I mean, are there a lot of businesses that have used this?
Done.
None.
So it's not good.
But the front end was $1,000, and especially
Correct.
for a small business, which is what the biggest change, I think.
Well, I wonder if
Because it's just a what if. When you apply, it's just a what if.
yeah, but I'm wondering if the reason that nobody's using it is because of the $1,000 or just the lack of knowledge that it's available for them,
There's
or both.
3 reasons. I mean, the $1,000, the visibility, and it's not flexible enough for those who have read it, for what the general person who would use it.
To navigate
If you
through
look
it.
at other towns that are successful in using it in a way that is cautious, right? It works, right? So, for instance, it has to be sustainable. Number one, it is a town's decision. Number two, it's small business friendly. 3,
Yep.
it has the right safeguards on in event of default. And what does default mean, including leaving town? And it has a softening period, right? So, that's why, from what I see, it was a good measure. It really was. We didn't have it. And this is quite a few years ago, prior administration, that we put it in place. You know, and spent a lot of time on it.
But even
And,
having said that, nobody's taken advantage of it.
correct. Yep.
Interesting.
So that's where we are with that. I didn't want to leave it, let it go. We've been away from the summer. I want, in case anybody wanted to know what they did with this since we last met. But that's where it is. Where it will go, I can't say right now. If we do bring it to a board of select, I will let everybody know. Meeting, it wouldn't be any time in the near future. Right.
Okay.
Yep. Because I don't know what other revisions would be needed or introduced.
But it has to go through the town attorney, is that what it has to do?
It will go through a town attorney, yeah. It is a recommendation.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It does not need to be accepted. It's
not a foregone conclusion that
It
they're
does not even need to be accepted to be put in for consideration. It could be recommended, but it doesn't mean that it could be accepted for consideration, from my understanding. And then it would need to be recommended by an acting board of select to then go to a town meeting for vote. So it requires anybody requires a town meeting, requires our town to say yes. And the changes to this also requires our town to say yes, which I think is the most appropriate,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Yeah. Because it's supposed to meet the needs.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right? In everybody's opinion, right? So, I think that's where
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Other than that, new business, it's been a long time since we've met. We've been away. I think all of us kind of travel elsewhere during the summer months. And we did cancel last meeting only for the fact that volunteer fire department runs a very big charitable event, which was on the same day as our last meeting. Both Carrie and myself were there. And, very successful event that helps benefit our town. So I felt it was necessary at the time. Other than that, is there anything else we want to discuss today? I think we did have a lot come to us. I didn't realize Ken was coming to the meeting. So
That was
it nice.
That was very good.
That's great.
Yep.
Nice.
Ken seems to be the one business owner in town who comes to us and presents, and in recent year, so it's nice to hear and see that concept, so that we could put a recommendation in.
He's very vested in the town. He purchased all that land across the road too, and he owns a lot of property there, so.
Yep.
They did it quite some time ago, 5-6 years ago, and.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
still,
Been trying to
yeah.
find the tenants for it.
I think it was a challenge. I think everybody knew it was going to be a challenge. It's always been a challenging piece of real estate, that stuff up building, because of the intersection, so, if there's no, other discussion, I can adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Do you have a second?
Second?
I don't have to open that to discussion, do I?
What'd you say, Dave?
I said, do I have to open that to discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Till our meeting in November.
What's the date on that?
It's online.